So your favorite just lost Drag Race. What you need to do next is buy their merch. Ask your local bars to book them. Follow their socials and blast them with love. And don't tear down anybody else that beat them. That's not hard. Hi, hello, welcome into my channel. My name is Jer. We are in the finale episode of UK vs. the World, Season 2, and we are just gonna start right out by saying that Kofi won the whole thing. And to be honest, I'm not terribly surprised. I have so much to talk about in this, and I want to try and keep everything concise for this finale, so let's get into it. This season has been muddled with lack of strategy moves, and I've really been enjoying that because we haven't really been getting drama. I'm fine without there being a lot of backstabbing. I'm glad to see a season that felt genuinely pretty fair the whole time. And if I'm being honest, this is the top 4 that I kind of pictured from day 1, just based off those initial performances. Tia was the one who surprised me the most, but I kind of figured when she wasn't in the bottom that first week that she was definitely going to be getting a strong push to the end. But I don't necessarily think that Tia was bad at all. I think Tia had a couple weak moments, and for the most part, just wasn't the worst one in the room. When you're not performing well, but there's always at least one person who's worse than you, how do you go home? It's like La Grande Dame. She had the same problem. La Grande Dame was so up and down the whole season and stayed on a pretty stagnant down for the second half of it, but there was always someone worse than her there. Hannah was strong all season long. She was our confession queen. She was never quite like the best, but never was bad. She just always was pretty consistent and good. And then Marina never faltered. She was always perfection. She was so calculated and smart with her package, but did not play the game in the way that someone who's prepared that much would play the game. And I can't help but wonder if she just didn't want a target on her back, that if she played dirty, that maybe that would come back and bite her in the butt later. But she never did bad enough to land in the bottom. And I almost wish that she had played dirty because I think she could have won. I mentioned last week, but I ended up cutting it out of the final edit, that Tia and Alaska in All Stars 2 have practically the same track record as far as challenges won, with that being the advert snatch game and the comedy challenge. But Tia's run, she won the Rusical, and Alaska won the acting challenge. But that track record was pretty similar. And I don't know, people unanimously agree that Alaska won fair and square and did not get a push, even though I very much feel like that was such a heavily produced season. And yet, there's only one really big difference between Alaska and Tia, and it's not the British accent. I really wanted Marina to win this season, and I think it's safe to call this Marina versus the world because she beat every one of these girls in lip syncs, and I think that those were all deserved placements. I think Marina has dominated this in a way that we haven't ever seen from a competitor, in my opinion. The way that Marina burned down this competition in the best way. I just wish she was more strategic in the way that she played. This episode starts with the reunion, and I already kind of could see the writing on the walls with the way that we were tackling the questioning, specifically with Tia getting a lot of really heavy conversation and being the sort of focus and instigator of any of the drama that was happening. As far as the looks are concerned, we got a really cute little outfit from Hannah. I loved this pink gown. I thought she looked adorable. Marina was giving us 80s glam once again, and I'm obsessed. They discussed strategy and what is best about eliminating the stronger ones early. There's a conversation that should be had in that if you eliminate somebody strong, you then have all other eyes gunning for you because you could take out someone strong, like that moment where they thought that Scarlett was going to take out somebody strong. They were worried about what that was going to look like. If Scarlett did pick the stronger competitor and sent her packing, that puts a big target on Scarlett's back because then someone else is going to snipe her out so that she doesn't take out like La Grande Dame or maybe Marina. They want to protect the sanctity of the competition. So on one hand, it's smart to be strategic and send someone strong home, but you kind of have to have a solid rubric that you can not only answer to the other competitors in the room, as well as the fans who are going to interpret every one of your actions a certain way, but also to production who's going to have their own favorites and might penalize you for sending someone home that you wanted to keep there. Really great example in All Stars 4. Carson talks about how Naomi eliminated Manila and he was still upset about that. And I can't help but wonder, no matter how good Naomi did, if that prevented her from progressing in the competition to that final lip sync moment. I don't know. I think it's worth exploring that idea that the judges and production will actively harm someone's trajectory if they're mad at them for a decision that they made. In the reunion, Jonbers and Scarlett were really pissed off, and I understand Scarlett because it had just happened, like literally maybe the day or two before, but Jonbers, I don't think has a full grasp of what her drag looked like this season and what she was presenting. I get that she made top 4 and she really felt that she deserved it again this time, but she was not giving top 4 energy, top 4 package. It was mid-early season out. And I don't think she's aware that that's what she was presenting. I still disagree with her bottom placement that episode, but I thoroughly feel like she should have been bottom the first 2 episodes, so it is what it is. Michelle was a really lovely host for Bring Back My Girls, and I loved seeing her in that role. I think this is a really nice progression into what we're going to see with her being a judge in Down Under, and I'm very excited for that. Arantxa wins Miss Congeniality, and I'm very happy for her. I would have honestly thought it was going to be someone else. Personally, I thought maybe it'd be Gothi or Teresa, but I was not mad that it was Arantxa. So we actually get to the runway, and I gotta say, I hate this look on Rue. It looks like Jonbers styled it. The dress and the shoes don't match, and the hair is a mess. Like, it doesn't look like it was finished. This whole outfit looks like it wasn't finished. Like, she just had to wear it because it was there, but it wasn't ready yet. I don't know, it was weird and I did not like it. This has not been a great fashion season for Rue, and this was one of the worst, in my opinion, for her. The hair looks like it was stuck in a blender, and those boots are uggo. No, bitch. No! We get to see all the eliminated queens' finale outfits, and the category is Finale Eleganza. So let's talk about those like we always do, because I really want to talk about these. We got Mayhem coming out in this beautiful African queen look. She even has her classic white contacts, doing her eye thing that she does. I've never seen Mayhem look so good. God, she looked great, and I love this pattern. This was my favorite look of the night, in my opinion. Next out, we have Arantxa, and she's giving us this cute little pink purple plaid look. I love the hair. I love the weird funky silhouette. I'm not responding well to the cages on the hips, but I think the proportions of everything else are quite wonderful. I wish that that hip bird cage was gone, because this is a stellar look. Next out is Jonbers with a clown look. I like this. I like this. There are elements that I enjoy. I like the bustle in the back. I think it's really fun. I enjoy this big silhouette. I enjoy her little prop with the clown nose on it. I enjoy all the red balls everywhere. The hair is where it falls apart, and I think she was really trying to capture that jester hat, and I wish she just had a hat and didn't do it with the hair, because that was weird for me. Even the height of the skirt and how hiked up it is nice. It's the hair that's the problem, and it takes me out of the fantasy, I think. Next out is Kita Minaj with a prehistoric look. I enjoy this half skirt that she does. She wore a half skirt like this during the Twisted Prince runway, and I really like the silhouette. I like the bones, and then the nails are killer. My only problem with it is that it's stark white, and I feel like stark white sometimes gets lost on the runway. I wish that it was a gradient, sort of lilac, maybe bubblegum pink, something soft. Almost like the hair where you can see pink and purple in there. If the whole dress had been that, I think it would have been nice. Next out is Gothi Kendall with such a simplistic, dare I say boring and basic finale runway. It is sort of an ice mint green. I'm not a huge fan of this shape. Arantxa did something similar, but Arantxa, I think, executed it well. My favorite part is from the neck up. The makeup and the hair are stunning. Everything else is just so simple and lacks a lot of forethought into what the finale was going to be. I wish that she had done some type of tiger look for the end and really done the RAR to its full extent. Next out is Charissa May with a Lydia Dietz look from Beetlejuice, and I severely enjoy the silhouette of this. I think the hair is so spot on and perfect. Charissa looks marvelous. She's glowing on the runway, and I enjoy this idea for a finale. I think it's fun. I do wish that the bodice maybe was a different color, that there was a corset or something, just to break up all the red. Even it just being a slightly darker red would have made up for it, and if it had been princess seams, or if it had been piped with black or a crimson or something, just to make all the colors pop more. I don't know if there's necessarily a good focal point for it. Next out is Scarlet Envy with another, dare I say, simple finale outfit. Is this worthy of a finale? This pearl bra is a little bit odd shaped because it's not quite fully fitted to her body, and it seems like it is almost a corset where it goes halfway down, that it's stoned maybe at the top half, but the stoning didn't finish. And then she's got a droopy, God, what fabric is that? Is this silk? It might be a silk fabric. It looks like a condom to me, but I don't think it's supposed to look like that. You know when you take off a condom after you've used it and the end is all flared out and it's all just bunchy? It looks like that, but with rhinestones. Her makeup looks beautiful. And then of course, we have our top 4. First up is Hannah in this really funky printed gown. I will say I love the silhouette. I'm such a big fan of Hannah's silhouettes. Besides the spiky boobs, I don't like spiky boobs at all. I think they're foul and I wish that they would go away. I really enjoy all the proportions that are up here that draw the eyes outward to this extremely exaggerated shoulder moment. And I like the pink hair quite a bit, and I think the makeup looks nice. What I don't respond to very well is this tie-dye print. I feel like Hannah's got really great silhouettes and just problem patterns, and I'm a bitch who loves a problem pattern, but I think this was a little bit too noisy. Next out is Le Grand Dame, and I enjoy the silhouette here again. I enjoy the fabric. I feel like there is something noisy about this as well. I don't know if my eyes rest anywhere in particular that makes me really take in the wow factor of this. She tried to move around a little bit on the runway, and I feel like something like this should have a lot of movement to it. You should look at it and it should almost swish like waves, and I don't know if it does that. Whatever this tin is, this party streamer thing that's on her back, this porcupine that she's got going on, I just don't know if it had enough movement and visual interest to make me pay attention to it, because my eyes draw right in on the dress and on the silhouette, which is very simple. And that's not bad when you've got a big statement piece on the back, but there's just not enough movement to it. Next out is Marina, giving an almost 80s, 90s glam look. It's very Princess of the Ocean. I'm a big fan of the headpiece. I'm a big fan of the blue at the bottom. I like this velvet dress. I don't really have a ton of notes. I think it's really stunning. Finally, we have Tia Kofi redoing her Baroness basic green gown from UK2. I love this reference. I think it's so fun that she got to do this. My only complaint is I wish that the fur did the V shape. It's asymmetrical, and I don't know if this gown needs to be asymmetrical. It almost feels asymmetrical just for the purpose of doing it. And I wish that it followed the corset line on the other side. I think it would have looked so much better if it was that super classic shape and the corset bodice was just really exaggerated by the feathers. Tia's makeup and hair was flawless. I was really happy with this finale presentation, and I think she looked great. This caps off who she is as a performer and her growth that she's had on the show. So once again, I just want to recap that Tia's track record is very similar to Alaska and All Stars 2. And that got me thinking, this season is actually very reminiscent of All Stars 2. We've got Tia Kofi with all of these dominating wins, a sort of horse on ice way of walking. Marina is Detox, someone who did not falter the whole season, but the judges were really harping in once or twice about how she just wasn't quite there, even though she was great all season, had an excellent runway package and demolished the runway every time, and thought really sensibly through the whole season on how she wanted to conduct herself. La Grande Dame being Roxy, someone who started so strong at the beginning and really came out the gates just ready to fight, and then sort of just trickled down into this slow moving boat that didn't keep running by the end and sort of was out of gas. And then Hannah being this really high fashion in mind only with really strange runways, that's just a lunatic and has a great perspective on life and humor, being Katya. And this was such a similar parallel that I saw the writing on the walls with Tia winning right from the start. I knew actually as soon as Marina had this moment where she was crying about being able to represent her country. It was very early in the episode and she like leaned forward and was crying and like says sorry and wipes her tears. I knew that was her moment where she had been eliminated, and they just copy pasted something from a later interview to prime us ahead of time that she wasn't winning. So we have a lip sync SmackDown, and I goddamn hate these. When I tell you that I hate a lip sync SmackDown, I don't think I can properly express to you how much I hate a lip sync SmackDown. It is so unfair, it is so punishing, it is not okay. There has not been one single time where I have loved a lip sync SmackDown. I can't think of a single time where I thought like, yes, lip sync for the crown, lip sync SmackDown, that's great. These are never fair. It is always set up for one person to succeed and one person to fail. That being said, I felt like this was the most objectively fair of all the lip sync SmackDowns, and to me, the error came in choices. We'll get into that, and y'all gotta promise that you're gonna listen and not just get mad. There's always someone who latches on to one thing that I say and doesn't listen to the rest of it, and they just get tunnel visioned. And I need you to listen. Arantxa gets to spin the wheel. The wheel lands on Marina's face, and she gets to choose her competitor. This is the moment for me that I really would think strategy. You have 3 queens up here who you've already beaten in lip syncs. You already know what the songs are going to be. Rue always responds better to a comedic approach to a number. So I would know this, and knowing the songs that don't really have a point of view. They're not required to do them sexy or to do choreography or to throw your pussy all over the stage or to do a certain type of thing. You can really interpret these songs however you want and show your point of view on drag through that number. So I would keep that in mind. I would put myself against the other Fashion Fierce performer. I would choose La Grande Dame. It's a very similar situation to when Silky chose Brooke. I would have chosen Akira in that moment. There's a chance that she could have beaten Akira and then made Brooke and Evie lip sync again. My thought process is, in this situation, I might lose. I want to win, and I'm putting it onto the world that I'm going to win. But if I am going to lose, I want to make sure that someone I want to win is going to be there. And I mean, you could say all day you want everybody to be sisters, we're all friends, kiss, kiss, kiss. It is UK versus the world at the end of the day. So you want to stack the odds against Tia so that someone else can win, that the world could win over the UK. At least that would be my thought. And especially seeing how things have been all season, where Tia has definitely been in high placements where maybe somebody else should have been, didn't get low placements where maybe she should have. I would try to stack the odds against her by making sure that Hannah, a funny queen who Rue and Michelle love, is against Tia. That's where my brain would go. Put them against each other because they will both take it comedic and only one of them will be stronger. We don't know which one, but one of them will. And maybe Tia might get knocked out. And that's your biggest competition, in my opinion. You could maybe beat Hannah when it comes down to user votes. When all the viewers have to cast in their ballots for who they want to see. If it's between you and Hannah, they might like you just a little bit more because you have more wins. That's where my brain would go. But this is also a long time ago. Marina may not have had the forethought to think about all this, but she's done so much homework I don't know how she wasn't thinking about this. So I would have thought, I could beat Le Grand Dame, I'm gonna choose her. And Marina's smart. I don't understand why she did not choose Le Grand Dame. I don't wanna say that anything was pulled pageant-wise, but something felt weird about that to me. Because then Hannah gets to choose the song, and she chooses I'm Out of Love. And this is where people are pissed at me, and honestly and frankly, I don't care if you are mad at me for my opinion. Hannah won this lip sync fair and square. And people are like, oh, but Marina did a backflip and you could tell based off the judges' reactions that they were looking at her and that she was doing a backflip and they clearly edited that out because clearly she did so good. This song is a song that doesn't require you to be fierce to do any type of choreography. It's open to interpretation. Marina chose to be fierce and Hannah chose to be funny. And by funny, I mean Hannah put on glasses at the beginning and danced around with the microphone, and that's a sight gag, for those of you who don't know. That immediately brings you to a story. And the way that she was walking around in sort of like this Missy Elliott type of way brings you to a heightened sense of what her character is in this lip sync. And for a lip sync, you're performing, you're acting, you're doing more than just moving your mouth. You are giving a show to the audience. And while Marina was very good, I kept wanting to see what Hannah was going to do next. It's similar to the Shay versus Jinx lip sync. Shay was going really hard in on the choreography, but Jinx chose a different route. Same thing with Detox versus Jinx. And when you have a performer that is thinking beyond just a lip sync, they're thinking a big, giant character that is more than just moving your mouth and being fierce, it is hard not to look at them and wonder, what are you going to do next? And the way that she was moving, staying perfectly in character with this singer, with the concert style mic, the way that she was moving her body, Hannah embodied a character that fit so perfectly for that song. And while Marina was fierce, we've seen fierce lip syncs a ton of times. And I think genuinely Hannah won that. If that is not your comedy style and you don't get that, that's fine. I wanted Marina to win. I can't deny that Hannah performed better, broader, and that's going to be different for everyone. And Rue responds to that kind of route more than she responds to fierce, 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 turn, and all of that. Rue responds better to funny. And that's why Marina should have picked Le Grand Dame. Because Le Grand Dame does wacky, but she's in a giant high fashion, high couture dress. She's probably not gonna do wacky in that. I would have chosen her, and that's why going against Hannah was a mistake. So Hannah moves on, and Marina is cut. Rue does the Marina and fully does the look. Not well, I should add, but did it. And I think that was enough justification that Marina could feel good about her performance. She didn't do bad, just Hannah did a little bit better. Next up is Tia Kofi and Le Grand Dame to Boogie Tonight. This beautiful laid red hair on Tia was stunning. She looked so good. I don't think I've ever seen Tia look this good. And I love this costume on her. Le Grand Dame looked beautiful, but she just had so much going on. This Easter basket of feathers that were all over her were pretty, but I feel like it needed to come off faster, and I don't know if this was the best look for a finale. I would have done this look as the final presentation runway and had that be the grand finale look, and then done some type of performance-based outfit for the lip sync smackdown, because what's happening here is that a lot of her face is covered, and when your face is covered by lip sync, you have to do more with your body. You have to move your arms bigger. You have to move your body bigger. You have to enunciate more because more of your face is covered. And then you've got this big bulky stuff on you so that when Le Grand Dame is coming down, again losing her face, and she needs to bring her head up here, and she doesn't do that through a lot of the lip sync. And then she's got just this mound of feathers that are all over her, and it doesn't work well for a finale lip sync. It all needed to come off so much sooner. But Tia embodied the song and was very entertaining and engaging to watch. Tia wins the lip sync, and I was not surprised. She also had a couple props and a couple sight gags, and that always does well if you do them sparingly and with purpose. Blue Hydrangea comes out and gets her soul crushed by finding out that there's actual money. And I wish that they had said about the prize maybe before Blue walked in, because that felt real disrespectful to tell her that to her face. She looked cracked. She looked panini pressed and like genuinely very upset. So we get to the final looks, and I really enjoy both of these looks on Hannah as well as on Tia. They both look beautiful for this final number, and I was excited to see what was gonna pop out. I was pleasantly surprised to find out that it was a Kylie Minogue song, Your Disco Needs You. And I thought maybe they were setting it up for Hannah to win. But then the music started, and Tia pulled out a fake iPhone and starts playing that intro line like she is someone who's on Grindr looking for a hookup, looking for someone who's willing to travel. It had me in stitches. It was so funny. And that immediately pulled me into the lip sync. And that made me go, okay, I'm here. I'm sat. Let's see what you do. They were both so fun. This was a hard one to judge because they were both doing their own thing and they were both really strong. And this is why I would personally have chosen to pick La Grande Dame at the beginning, because Hannah and Tia are both funny. They approach lip syncs with a sense of humor. And the two of them going at it, Tia may have won that first lip sync. And then it would have been Marina against Tia. And especially considering track record and user votes, it could have gone to her if she had been smart about her decision with who she was lip syncing against. And she just wasn't. My favorite part of this lip sync was La Grande Dame getting pulled up to the corner of the stage to do the French part and just being there and supporting the number and being funny. This was one of my favorite finale lip syncs in a very long time. This was a lovely way to end the season. And yes, I obviously wanted Marina to win the whole thing. She was my pick since day one, but she wasn't strategic in her thoughts, and she rightfully lost that lip sync, in my opinion. Tia has done her homework. She understands how to make Rue laugh, and that's how you win Drag Race. It doesn't matter how good you are in the challenges, or how good you are on the runway, or how personable you are. If you can connect with Rue, that's how you win the show. This is not Dragula, where you just have to be the best. Your goal on RuPaul's Drag Race is to impress RuPaul and make her like you. That's how you win. And Tia knows how to do that. And that's why she scored high all season. That's why she was in the finale in the first place, because she understands how to connect with Rue in a way that not many people do. And I just want to say, if you're one of those psychopaths who are thinking about sending hate to Tia or any of the other girls, you need to take several seats, take a chill pill, and relax. If you are sad and upset that Marina went home, go buy her merch. Go support her socials, pour love on her everywhere without tearing down the other girls. Go in and say, I was really rooting for you. I'm excited for what you do next. You're still a star. You're still a winner to me. Go to your local bars and ask them to book Marina. That's how you support someone who lost, not by sending hate and being a psychopath. And I see every single season that the winner gets tons of hate, and someone that we all wanted to win is just assaulted with hate over why they didn't win over somebody else. Be mad at Ruin Production for being too formulaic with the show and not being subtle. And if you're really upset about Tia winning, she has some new merch that says Pushed by Production that you can totally go and buy because she's heard the narrative and she's embracing it. So go buy Pushed by Production and understand Tia rightfully deserved this win. She did well, and she did what you're supposed to do in this finale. Did I want Marina to win? Yes. I'm very sad. I'm very upset that she didn't win, but I'm happy for Tia. I really loved her in her season. I'm excited to see what she does next. Obviously, the season is over, but I tend to focus my reviews on a lot of the international seasons as well as Dragula. So if you like drag, stick around, check out some of my other content when it drops. I'm also every other week dropping fashion reviews, my top 10 of each season. So keep an eye on those because I work pretty hard on those. I think you'd enjoy them. I'll be doing my top 10 looks from the UK very soon. I'm hoping within this week or next, sharing all those. Also, if you like Drag Race, I have a podcast that drops every week. Every other week right now is Drag Race. We're going into season 11 that's coming up, but I very much feel like I might be able to do 2 days a week, and Mondays will be Drag Race, and then Fridays will be the regular podcast. So keep an eye on that. All the links for that are below. Thank you for watching this season with me. I hope that you enjoyed this ride. And for me and many others, Marina will always be our winner. And at the end of the day, who captures your heart is who won Drag Race, not necessarily who has the crown and the scepter, because they're all gonna make their money. They got their flowers by being there. And I'm excited to see what happens next. Please be kind in the comments. Please be kind going forward. And hopefully we'll see you in whatever the next series that I'm reviewing is. And thank you so much for all the love this whole season. Thank you for being so kind and gracious in these comments and understanding where I'm coming from, even if you don't necessarily always agree. I really just want to say thank you to each and every single one of you for coming out every week and supporting this. See you on the flip. Hey, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to click that like button. And if you want to see more, hit subscribe. Goodbye.